Hello and welcome, guys and girls. This is the Prussian Prince with our Rome to Multiplayer Guide episode. And this time, we're going to be talking about the macro term. What is macro, you may ask? Well, it's delved into a custom battle, and I shall show you. Macro is simply just taking a faction, then based on the map, picking an army, and on the opponent's also based on the opponent's faction and in case you know him better, like what he actually likes to go for, like what his playstyle is generally. That's what macro is. It is essentially designing your army and of course a general strategy you're going into the game with. However, it has nothing to do with the actual game itself. And what I mean by that is what you're doing in game is micro. Controlling your units is called micro, but macro is just selecting your army, thinking about the general strategy you want to go in game with, and then pressing go. That's all it is. So let's go along with the particular macro setup here. So let's just assume that the opponent is Sparta. Let's assume that the opponent is Sparta, and we are Empress. All right. What are we going to do against Sparta as Empress on a Metacena? Well, we're going to take some cavalry. Let's take. We don't want too many just because it's Sparta. Let's take. This amount should suffice for anything. Next, what we're going to need is slingers to take care of potentially his slingers, right? And then we actually are going to need some peltasts. In particular, we're just going to go with. Let's go with the peltasts. 4 of them, right? Now you may think this is risky, but what can Sparta bring? Let's see. Well, they can bring a lot of spear infantry, and they're all very good and heavily armored, right? And these spikes are quite nice too frontally. What kills spikes? Skirmishers, javelins, whatever. What doesn't kill pikes though is cav, and cav is only used against Sparta just to deal with skirmishers that they may or may not have, right? That's why I have this cav contingent. In fact, I'm probably gonna shrink its size too. Next, we're going to simply get about some units just to have them there. Let's get, say, yeah, let's get our own pikes. No, this isn't a good idea, actually. Let me fix it around. Most likely we will not need this Mercenary Rhodian Slinger, actually, so we could change that. No, this isn't gonna work. So I'm going to take a hoplite here, another hoplite. Wait, I need that Rhodian Slinger. And I can't take that early unit, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna replace. Actually, I don't need those. I'm probably gonna be okay with the cheaper javelin men for one of those at least, and take some peltasts, right? Alright, take this, take this. So okay, that's a decent build to use against Sparta. Obviously, it's not very optimized, but it is a starting point. Obviously, you want to spend the rest of the funds. So again, against Sparta, cavalry we use to kill skirmishers or to kill his own cavalry, stop him from getting to our skirmishers. That's what it's there for, and also for hammer and anvils. Hammer and anvils when his all his units are like damaged or out of position. Next, Rhodian Slingers. These units are here to take care of his Helot Slingers, and they will also do very well against his pike units. Now, those peltasts, they're there specifically for taking care of melee units as well. Because Sparta obviously can't take... doesn't really have a lot of variety, so we know what they're gonna do, most likely. These levy pikes, they're here just to be in front of the mercenary Rhodian slingers and to protect them from possible cav charges, right? That's what they're there for. Not particularly to be used against my opponent's pike units. Just for defensive purposes. Then, hoplites. Well, these guys are faster and they can plug gaps in case there is a Spartan cav unit that's going through or something like that, getting through our skirmishers. They can also rapid advance in case it's really needed. Now let's try another setup here. Let's assume that the opponent is Parthia, that I am Egypt. Well, what does Parthia have? We have to think about it, and also the map, the Metasena. This map is really good for Parthia. That's one thing. Say now, Parthia, what are they likely going to do? They're going to skirmish because their melee units aren't that great. So, what are we going to do to counteract that? One move, which would be a very annoying one, would be to pike box, but that's not what we're going to be doing here, right? We're going to be trying to play more standard, I suppose. So what we're going to bring is... we don't bring Ptolemaic cav because the Parthian shock cav could destroy it. So I'm going to bring, let's say, not the Hellenic Royal Guard either because it would die fast. Well, I can bring one Ptolemaic cav as my general, but keep him close by. And then let's say keep 4 citizen cav just in case. Then against Parthia, they could bring also some missile cavalry. Against most of the missile cavalry they're gonna bring, and most likely Scythian horse archers is what it's gonna be, we're going to be able to bring some mercenary Rhodian slingers. Let's bring about 5. And what else can we do? Well, pikes do really well against Parthia. So let us take around 6 Egyptian pikemen, right? And then we need something for aura. For aura, we could bring one Hellenic Royal Guard. However, focused fire from his slingers could take care of it. So, I don't think we need anything to deal with. I don't think we need a Hellenic Royal Guard for this particular build. So we can actually add on another slinger. And then we have some spear infantry we can take, which I would actually take those Thurios spears. We have so much money left, so we can actually go ahead and take a Hellenic Royal Guard, because why not? We have all this money available. So this is the build. We can actually upgrade our some of our units. This is the build against Parthia. Now let me explain again. Parthia has really good shock cav, and this one is particularly one of the most cost-effective ones, I would say. Probably not as cost-effective as Rome, but still. This particular one, it's actually one of the only viable cataphract units in the game right now for Parthia. And they've also got some swordsmen and some spear infantry, but they're really nothing to be worried about. However, what we do have to be worried about is, as I said, they're cataphracts, they're missile infantry, elephants, which we are countering by bringing slingers, a lot of those. And probably it would be useful to have some javelins just in case, but I've got so many slingers already, so why not? And the pikes can also deal very well with the elephants. Now, what else do we have to worry about Parthia? Well, most likely missile cavalry. And it's most likely going to be mercenary Sarmatian horse archers, which have low armor, so they're gonna die quickly. Could bring Parthian ones, or it would be annoying if he brought a lot of noble horse archers, but they're not gonna really be too effective in that case. Like, they might kill our own skirmishers, but they're not gonna be able to do too much to our pikes afterwards. So, because they might not have a lot of ammo left. As you can see here, the noble horse archers, like everybody else, have like 15 ammunition, like every other horse archer. So then our Rhodian slingers will be able to take care of his missile cavalry, citizen cav, just in case, to plug the gaps in our lines, stop him, and then pin him, and then come in with Thura spears to support the cav fight. But in particular, we're not really going to engage too much in the cav fight. And with this, like, unless it's really close to our infantry line. Then the Ptolemy cav, well, I just have it because the other choices aren't really too good either against Parthia. So this one's the best I can think of, and it's going to be doing okay against the cheaper cataphracts, which are most likely what he's going to be bringing. Again, pikes front line to defend against to defend the Rhodian slingers with. Really good against cav and especially elephants. Thura spears, decent against cav, and they're going to be used to support the citizen cav on the flanks. So wait, I just clicked something. Notice what I did. Oh, I think I moved the Hellenic Royal Guard. And I have this Hellenic Royal Guard. Probably gonna be somewhere in the middle to give aura bonuses to my Egyptian pikes so they don't rout too quickly. That is the decision as to why to go for this build against Parthia. Now, let's say I'm going with Rome against Vini. Now, this is going to be a really good matchup for Rome. What you can do here is you can bring a Legatus. And I'm going to be able to bring Caesar, because that's a really good general. I can bring... well, bringing elephants is unnecessary against Arvirni, because they have spear nobles, and they can bring javelins. And this elephant would quickly be dead, as it's not really a really good elephant unit. But what we can do is we can bring... we don't need missile infantry here. We actually do not need it against Arvirni, because we can go for a rush. They have no elephants to take care of our units. So what we can go for is, say, bring some cav, just to take care of their skirmishers. So let's bring 6 Saucy Equitus Extraordinary, just to take care of skirmishers. Probably too many still. We'll look at it later. And let's bring some Eagle cohorts with Armored Legionaries, maybe? No. 2 Eagle cohorts. Some veteran legionaries. So it's essentially it is 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, not enough. Bring a few more. Still not good enough. So can we bring some armored legionaries now? Yes. Okay, so this is going to be the build. 4 shock cav and then all these melee infantry. Not bringing any skirmishers because his old sworns will be able to be dealt with by the use of my own melee infantry. Oh, actually, I could take a few. Let's take Levis since they're the cheapest. But I'm gonna have to reduce on the quality of my units. Probably gonna be able to take. Let's see. I can't take all of those, so I'm gonna take some of these then. Yep, so I'm reducing the quality of my units slightly just to be able to afford taking 3 Levis, just to deal with some of his infantry that could actually break through, because Ulfsworns are still a strong unit. They could help against Cav 2, these guys, I suppose, in certain situations. But anyway, let's overview what Arvirni can bring and why we actually picked this army composition against Arvirni. So, Arvirni. What are their weakest departments? Missile infantry. They don't have such good missiles, although they're very cheap. Other weaknesses. They have no shock cavalry, no elephants. Melee cavalry, yes. They won't really be able to do too well against our own infantry, so can be okay about from that regard. We don't even need spears to get rid of them. Now, they have these really good elite units, Old Sworns. However, should be able to get cost effective enough, and in case they can't actually bring many because they're so expensive, and in case they break through, we have Levis. If he brings an Oathsworn general, we have Levis to focus fire it and kill it. Next, they have some decent shock infantry units, which we actually don't still need to worry about because we have Levis to take care of them too in case they're brought. Then obviously spear nobles, but they're not really gonna be using this unit against Rome. Chosen spearmen. They might bring some chosen spearmen and a combination of chosen swordsmen. That could be interesting for what our Vini could do. Most likely a combination of Oath Swords and Chosen Swordsmen or Naked Warriors. This could be... These 3 units are most likely going to be used. I would expect 1 to 2 of those, and then spending the rest of the money into those 2 melee infantry units, then some javelins, and some cav. That would basically be it. Most likely heavy horses, maybe 1 or 2 light horse. So what do we have to counteract that? Again, Caesar General, because he gives a lot of bonuses like melee defense. Then Legatus, because he's cheaper than the General and Bodyguard. Then we have 4 Sociequitas Extraordinary. The purposes of those are to get skirmishers, because especially javelins, because they can really do a lot of damage to our own melee infantry. Like, they can crush them so fast. That's why we have 4 of these. Then we have 3 Levis. These guys are pretty handy to have, just in case he has... Like, they're gonna do very well and trade cost effectively against Oathsworn, and we can use them in case he has, say, for example, Cav that's hitting our melee infantry. They could do pretty well in that scenario too, but most likely we're gonna be using them against Oathsworns. Next, have this huge amount of melee infantry. The reason why I'm not bringing, like, let's say Praetorian Guards is because they're so expensive. Although they're extremely good, but they're so expensive. So our point here is overwhelm the Arvini units by going around them, flanking with some units, probably 2 on each side, depending on how many units melee units he has. Then turning formation attack off for the flanking units, then hitting the rear or the flanks of the enemy. That's our point. We may not win a straight up engagement, but with flanking we should be able to do just fine and trade cost effectively and win the melee engagement, especially with our excellent shock cav, which is probably going to beat all the cav that our Vini is going to bring, because shock cav does really well if you get a good charge off against melee cav. That is basically our plan with Rome against Arvini. Now, if our opponent was, say, Rome, and we were Empress, yeah, Empress, bring Hellenic Royal Cav General, bring, let's see, Hellenic Royal Cav here, 4th Thessalian Cav, just as a core. Let's see if we're actually going to keep that. Then we're gonna bring again 6 Levy Pikes, because we're gonna be skirmishing, and 6 Rhodian Slingers. 4, 5, 6 Rhodian Slingers, and then some Javelin Men. 2, 3. Wait. Oh, I don't have enough yet. So yeah, this is... Oh, actually, no. This is not what I wanted to bring. We actually want to bring elephants in this scenario. Why? Because they're going to be doing really well against the Roman melee units. So let's look at our build again. Well, just a second first. I need to sort things out. Alright. So we have... Hang on 1 second. Let's see. Can I actually take another... Yeah, I can take another Thessalian Cav if I take away the javelins. This unit. Alright, so as Empress against Rome on Nemetosena, what do we have to worry about? Well, Roman units, extremely cost effective melee infantry. So we do not want a frontal engagement against the enemy. We want to skirmish him down, because if we don't do that, we're most likely going to end up losing the engagement. And we have Thessalian Cav and elephants, right? Which, especially the Hellenic Royal Cav, should be able to trade really well against the Sociequitas Extraordinary. Most likely, Rome is not going to have more than 4 Cav. So, and most likely it's going to be weaker Cav, so we should have the Cav advantage. Especially with Indian War Elephants supporting. Then we could also use some Rhodian Slingers to fire in case it's needed. Support the Cav engagement on the flanks. But these 4 cav units, again, useful if he has skirmishers to take them out in case they're wide open. Useful against the Roman cav to stop them from chasing our skirmishers. And to hit Roman units that are undefended and are damaged during battle. Most likely going to be a few minutes after battle has engaged. Or some hammer and anvils while our pike units are engaged. And those elephants, these guys are really gonna have to be used really well against Rome. They're gonna have to be used against the melee infantry specifically. We want to use those against them because they deal so well with the melee infantry. And however, we have to set up the perfect engagement because the enemy has javelins or other skirmishers. Elephants are gonna fall really fast and they're not gonna be able to do what we want them to do. So we need to hopefully take care of as many skirmishers of Rome's as possible. Take them out with our own skirmishers or with our cav. And we have 6 Rhodian slingers. Reason is obvious. We simply want skirmish advantage, and with 6 Rhodian slingers, we're pretty much guaranteed to have it against Rome, unless they take 7 elite slingers, which would be ballsy from the Roman opponent, but might work. And then we have 6 levy pikes. Again, these levy pikes just useful at protecting the Rhodian slingers from the front. That is why I have picked this build. Now let's see, what else? What other matchups are there? Let us see. Alright, let's say the opponent is Massagite. Right? So then we quickly take a look at what Massagite does. They've got only cavalry units. No elephants. No camels. Those are the big things that we need to worry about from that we don't need to worry about from Massagite, because they really have issues in terms of their versatility. So we only have to worry about cav. That's really a relief for whatever we're playing as. So what are we going to do then against Massagite? Well, the most obvious choice is to pike box, which would pretty much destroy any nomad faction. Like, they wouldn't really be able to do much against it. The other possibility is, hang on, I'm gonna show you. Let's say we are going Carthage, right? Against Massagite. We can bring 1 noble cav as our general, or the general's bodyguard. We can actually bring, yeah, let's bring the general's bodyguard because he's cheaper. Then we can bring, we don't actually need any sword infantry, that's for sure. These would be useless against Massagite. So what do we need? We need hoplites. So let's say we bring 6 of those, and let's say about 3 African pikes. No, actually, and take some Carthaginian cav. 4 Carthaginian cav, 6 late Carthaginian hoplites. Let's also take some slingers of our own. And actually we can take even more hoplites right now. Too expensive. Damn, I can't take this. Like Libyan hoplites. Alright. Let's see. I can upgrade something. No, I can take 3 Carthaginian cav and then it should all be fine in that scenario. No, I still have way too much money. Late Libyan away and do this. It's a hard choice actually for me. I have late Carthaginian hoplites though. Carthaginian hoplites. Oh, I know what we can do here. So change those. And yes, here's our build. Why are we bringing this build? First of all, cav. Again, same purpose. Defend our slingers in case somehow they break through, and they can get through our slingers, and also use the Carthaginian cav in late game to possibly chase after the enemy horse archers or something. Especially useful in matchmaking where the enemy could run away for the 20-minute timer to expire, and so that it ends in a draw. Then we have 6 slingers. Why is this? Because we need to deal with the enemy horse archers, and if they don't attack our slingers will do a lot of damage. So they will have to waste their ammo on our own slingers. That is good for us, because then our hoplites will be untouched. So because of this, we are able to afford, let's say, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units of hoplites. This is going to be really hard for Masagite to beat, because hoplites actually do pretty well against cavalry. So he's gonna have to be really careful how he uses his cavalry. But basically the only way he can win is by skirmishing. But against hoplites, skirmishing is going to be quite difficult, because they have really good shields, and these guys have particularly good armor, 70 armor. These guys even have like 75. Carthaginian ones only have 70, so not as good against Masagite. But still, overall, I would say that Carthage is at an advantage against Masagite. So, this is pretty much an example of, well, these have been examples of how you can think about a game before you actually go into the game yourself. So you have to, of course, consider the map, consider the factions, and not just the faction you are playing as, but the faction your opponent is, and potentially his playstyle. It's very important to consider those and pick an army based on that. Like, consider every possibility and have a plan, a general plan against every possibility that you could put into motion. So, thank you guys and girls for watching, and if you enjoyed, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Share the video, and I shall see you next time.